Hello, students. Now, yesterday we had our lesson, which is in Unit 1. We started this week with the unit. And we have, of course, the unit is 2 is better than 1. 2 is better than 1. We discussed about teamwork, small teams, and how they work together. We had some examples, and then after that, we had our grammar lesson. And yesterday, we had our conversation lesson. So just to revise what we took in the conversation, which was between these two young men who are Badr and Adnan. Now we had the discussion, and within the discussion, we mentioned something about negotiation and the phrases that you can use for negotiation. And also we mentioned other phrases that we can use that we call real talk, like when we say no sweat or not my cup of tea. So these are some of the phrases that we have here. So after that, we have, of course, the basic topic, which is teamwork. And we have to just relate with the main topic that we have here and the small topics that we are discussing. So since we were talking about negotiation and we had the phrases for the real talk, we are going to move on and just see something very simple here. Now you can see the word team. Now to remember always that teamwork is very important, we can see that we have here the T-E-A-M. We can say that together, everyone achieves more. So this is something simple that you can remember. And also to just remember your negotiation phrases and the real talk. We have our all-in-one. So there is a very short story that we have here. I'm going to start with the story and just put in mind the phrases that we have. One day at school, my school leader asked me to come to her office with Amal, one of my colleagues. When we sat down, she told us that there was a school event planned the following week, and we were in charge for the organizing. The event was big, and there was too much to do. When Amal and I sat to discuss the job, we found out that we were on the same wavelength. We weren't very excited about the responsibility due to our busy schedules. So we had to divide the work to make us both comfortable. I asked Amal if she was willing to organize the food catering if I handled the decorations. She then asked, how about if I do all the social contacting and you supervise the work here? I replied, no sweat, I love decorating. She said, laughing, that's why you'd better handle it. Decorating is not my cup of tea. I then told her that I think it would be fair if she handled designing the invitations. So we have here, let's just repeat. Do you remember what we said about the tone? So let's go and just repeat it again. So we can say, I think it would be fair if she handled designing the invitations too, she said. She said she will agree to handle all the orders if I would deal with the place of the event. Okay, I said, I'll agree to that if you promise me you will order and provide all the supplies we need. Our negotiation was successful and the result was a wonderful and well-prepared school event. Now this is just to show you that the things that we learned from the start, even the things that we had in the intro part, we have to just go back and apply them. So when we compared between the spoken text and the written text, you can see that some things do happen. Now when you have a false restart and you go and start again or self-correct, this is something normal that you can apply. So just move on, try to put in mind the things that you can correct and the things that you can compare between the spoken and the written. So we are moving within our unit, but still we are going back and applying what we have learned before. Yes, now this is the story that we had, and you can see that we used all the negotiation phrases and we have here the real talk as well. So we are going to move on. Read with me. We have here, achievement is always done better as a team. So this is something that we all know and we put in mind. And here we have teamwork is everywhere. So if we go back to the first lesson, we had the listen and discuss part. We had some examples of teamwork in other places, such as, if you can remember, the astronaut who we said that was able to reach the moon because he was working with a team. Not just that, we have here, of course, different kinds of teams. You can see that we have here, of course, different sports teams. And also, we have here teams that work in factories. We have teams who work in offices, designing. It can be school and so on. Other teams who work on projects as well. We have teams like the airplane, when you have the pilot, the co-pilot, and all the attendants who work there, they are one team. And also we have here in also laboratories, there are teams who work and try to discover new things together. So actually teamwork is something that you can find everywhere. It's not something that's just specific in one place. And of course, we have the best example that we can find, which are teams who work very hard in hospitals. We have doctors, surgeons, nurses, they all work together. Now, speaking of medical achievements, there are many Saudi doctors known worldwide for their achievements. Do you recall any one of them? Have you ever heard of someone who is, of course, a Saudi doctor here, and he is known worldwide for his achievements that he has accomplished? We can give one example. We have here Dr. Abdullah Rabi'a. Now, Dr. Abdullah Rabi'a, he is famous worldwide for being a successful doctor, and he does have a team working with him. So we have here, our lesson is going to be about Dr. Abdullah Rabi'a and his achievements. We have our listening lesson for the day. So the lesson is going to be about Dr. Rabi'a. Our objectives for the day are to give the meanings of words based on the text, enumerate Dr. Rabi'a achievements, listen and organize ideas in order, differentiate between vowels and consonant pronunciation, identify words with the R sound and pronounce the R sound properly. So this is something that we are going to discuss, inshallah, after we have our listening part. So before we move on, let's just think about Dr. Rabi'a. What can you think about him? What can you recall? What are the things that you know about his achievements? All the things that he has accomplished. Can you think of something in particular, something that made him famous worldwide? He did something that made him very famous all around the world. So we are going to move on. Listen to a summary about Dr. Abdullah Rabi'a, a famous pediatric surgeon, then number his achievements in the correct order, in chronological order. So we're going to see. Now you have in your book, in the listening lesson, we have here, these are the achievements mentioned. Now, since this is the first listening task that we have together, I advise you to read, take your time, and then after that, you can just underline the important and basic word in each part. So we have here, first of all, he and his team performed surgery on Polish twins. So something known here, and something that is different in the sentence, that we can say that there is a surgery and Polish twins. You can just underline it. So let's just do it together. We have here the first one. The first part, surgery and Polish twins. He becomes executive director of health affairs at the National Guard. So you can just focus when you listen on executive, director, and the National Guard. We have the third one. He realizes he wants to become a doctor. Here, the most basic word here is realize and becoming a doctor. And he graduated or graduates from King Saud University. So we are going to pay attention to King Saud University. We have, after that, he is assistant professor at King Saud University. So the first one is graduating, and the second one after that, assistant professor. He gets his master's in pediatric surgery. So we have here master's and pediatric surgery. He is honored by the Polish community. So we mentioned Polish twins, which is something that he is famous for. And we have here honored Polish community. He is appointed Minister of Health. So we have here the word minister. He is a member of the Canadian Board of Pediatric Surgery, so you can do the same. And we have here also Canadian is different. So whenever you feel that there are repeated words, go and look for other words. And we have the last one. He is appointed as a consultant in the Royal Court. And here it is very clear that we have here consultant and Royal Court. So we just highlighted or just underlined the most important word in each sentence. Now you are going to listen to the recording that we have, and you are going to just decide how the information comes in order. So let's start.
Dr. Abdullah Al-Rabia is highly respected in the medical field for his contribution to pediatric surgery and his expertise in separating conjoined twins. The work of Dr. Rabia and his team of medical specialists has enriched the lives of many children and their families around the world. Abdullah Al-Rabia was born in Saudi Arabia. From a young age, he knew that he wanted to help others and chose medicine as his career. He proved to be an excellent student, and by the age of 25, he had received a Bachelor of Medicine and a Bachelor of Surgery from King Saud University in Riyadh. He continued his studies in Alberta, Canada, where he was awarded a Master's in Pediatric Surgery in 1985 and became a member of the Canadian Board of Pediatric Surgeons in 1987. Dr. Rabia soon returned to Saudi Arabia and became an assistant professor of pediatric surgery at King Saud University and a pediatric surgery consultant at several hospitals in the kingdom. From 2005 to 2009, he held the position of Executive Director General of Health Affairs at the National Guard, and in February 2009, he was appointed Minister of Health. In January 2005, Dr. Rabia and his team made medical history by separating a pair of conjoined twins after 15 hours of surgery. This was the 9th successful operation of its kind performed at the Health Affairs at the National Guard, Medical City in Riyadh. The twins' mother, from Poland, had heard of the excellent facilities there and requested help for her daughters. The 14-month-old girls were brought to the kingdom after Crown Prince Abdullah generously agreed to the operation. When the two girls finally came out of the operation theater, the relieved mother told reporters, "The day of separation of the twins is the happiest event in my life." In February, the Polish ambassador held a special reception to honor Dr. Rabia and his team for their outstanding achievement. This operation and others since prove that humanitarian assistance and medical care have no geographical borders.
Okay, now if you notice something about the script that we have here, that he mentioned a lot of dates. So if the dates were written here, it would be easy for us to just reorder the sentences. But we had to listen to the dates, and you can go back and you can listen to it again, and just try to order or reorder the sentences depending on the dates that we have here. We're going to move on and see here what are the answers. So let's just check and see if you got the answers correctly as we have here. So we have, first of all, number 1, he realizes he wants to become a doctor. So of course, before studying, before anything, the first thing that comes in mind that he wants to become a doctor. What comes after that? We can see that we have here number 2, which is he graduates, simply graduating from King Saud University. Then we have a number 3. He gets his master's at pediatric surgery. And after that, we have, after the master's, you just have to think about the levels that come after that. So we can see that we have here number 4, which is he is a member of the Canadian Board of Pediatric Surgery. After that, we have in number 5, he is assistant professor at King Saud University, so he came back and became assistant professor. After that, we have number 6. What do you think? What comes after that? We have number 6. He becomes executive director of health affairs at the National Guard. So if you can see here, all the positions and all the studies that he had is still not the biggest achievements that they are big, but still there is bigger. Now we're going to see what we have. We have a number 7. He is appointed Minister of Health. We're getting higher. And after that, what happened in number 8? He and his team performed surgery on Polish twins. So he's famous for the surgery that he had done. And after the surgery, what happens? You have 2 left. We have here, he was honored by the Polish community. And we have the last part. He is appointed as a consultant in the royal court. So we have here, this is the listening, which is about a famous Saudi personality that we have here. And we are proud of Dr. Rabia. After that, we have just to think positive, and we have to get inspired of other people. So not just Dr. Rabia, we have a lot of people who had been successful in their lives and their achievements that they have done, and they inspire us to be successful like them. So just to be successful or just to think about something, let's be positive here, and we are going to use the words to give positive ideas. You can share your thoughts. I'm going to share mine, and I'm going to say, I realize that being a team member is important. So even Dr. Rabia here, he didn't do anything by himself. Like the surgery, he had his team with him. So we have here teamwork is very important. Even if you are in a high level, you still need your team with you. We have another useful point here. So we listened to Dr. Rabia's achievements. We after that had a little bit of thinking of how can people be successful and just think about something positive. Now there is another point within the sentences that we have here. We're going to see. Yes, now we have here. He is a member of the Canadian Board of Pediatric Surgeons. He is assistant professor at King Saud University. He becomes executive director of health affairs at the National Guard. He and his team perform surgery on Polish twins. He is appointed as a consultant in the royal court. The information is the same information, but this time I am concentrating on something else. I'm going to share with you. I am concentrating on how I am pronouncing the words. So before, when you listened to me and we said that pediatric is an unusual word and not always used, you have to practice and you have to know how to use these words. Now, pronunciation is a very important part. You have to know how you are pronouncing the words. Now, for example, we have here no sweat, which is the expression that we have. Now, if you say no sweet, this gives you a very different meaning. So here, I was practicing my pronunciation. Now, just practice the ones with the lines under them. We have here the first one, member, board, pediatric, surgeons, professor, director, affairs, guard, perform, surgery, and royal. So here, these words, and you can see that we have here, just for information, we have here surgery, which is the action or the thing done here. And of course, we have here surgeons or a surgeon. Now both of them are noun. So what do all these words share? We know that now they share the letter R that we have. So be ready for pronunciation. This is the second part of the lesson. Now we have here in the pronunciation part, before we talk about the letter R here, we always think of what to say and arrange thoughts. So when you have something in mind, you just think about the words and think how you can express your thought that you have in mind. But it rarely comes in mind how we speak. And sometimes it can make a big difference if you mispronounce a word, it gives another meaning. Our lesson is going to be in pronunciation, as we said. And before we start with the topic that we have here, now just to share with you that, of course, put in mind that each language has its unique pronunciation. Now, every language has their way to pronounce the letters that they have in their alphabets. Now, in the Holy Quran, we have here, وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ خَلْقُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَاخْتِلَافِ أَلْسِنَتِكُمْ وَأَلْوَانِكُمْ. اختلاف ألسنتكم. So this is something from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that there is a difference in our pronunciation. So we can say that we don't have in our language the R sound, but it is not impossible to learn how to pronounce it correctly. Now we are going to see the difference between vowels and consonants. Of course, we know these are the vowels, which are the A, I, U, E, and O. But some of you may not know that the rest of the letters are called consonants. Now, consonants are the words that we have here, the rest of the letters that you have to move either your lips or your tongue while you're pronouncing. And of course, we have here the R is a consonant. And the R is actually one of the most difficult letters to pronounce properly, especially if we are not native speakers. So we are going to learn how to pronounce it properly. And so you can differentiate between the two, or the R and the rest of the letters actually. We're going to see two kinds here. Now you are going to see some pictures of fruit. While you are looking at the fruit, I am not asking you to identify the fruit. I am asking you to pronounce the name of the fruit. So pronounce the names of the following as we have here. We have the first one. Okay, we have here. And the second one. I'm giving you a chance to just pronounce. We have after that, yes. We have also, let's see, yes. Okay, are you with me? We have here also. Let's see. Okay, now it's my turn with you. Now I can divide, as we said, into two groups. The first group, we have kiwi, lemon, banana, dates, and mango. The second group, which is, of course, you can just differentiate because we are talking about the letter R here. Pronounce again with me. And notice here that I am practicing the letter R. So if you are going to pronounce watermelon, it's okay and it's correct, but we are pronouncing the R. So let's just pronounce it again. We have watermelon, strawberry, cherry, grapes, orange, and berries. And of course we have here the apple goes with the first part. Here you can notice that the names of the fruits that had the R, they are heavier and a little bit stronger than the other ones. So when you say, for example, strawberry, it is different from mango. Mango is lighter. When you say, for example, watermelon, it's different from banana. So as long as you are pronouncing, you are going to notice that there is a kind of strength in the R, and we're going to see why. We have here, the R sound is voiced, which means you use your vocal cords. It is defined by the position of your tongue. To produce the R sound, curl your tongue near the roof of your mouth and voice out through your mouth. So you can see from the unusual picture that we have here that the tongue is curling. So when you pronounce it correctly and you say the letter R, you're going to notice that the tongue is a little bit curled up. So this makes it a little bit heavier in pronunciation. But once you get to it, it's something that is not impossible to achieve. We have here in your book, we have page number 11, you can see that the exercise depends on the letter R, and you can just see the script, which is actually from the listening that we listened about Dr. Rabia, and try to practice the R. Now we have from the beginning, Dr. Rabia is respected for his contribution to pediatric surgery. We have enriched the lives of children around the world. He received a bachelor's of surgery from King Saud University in Riyadh. After the operation, the mother was relieved. The ambassador held a reception to honor Dr. Rabia. So just go back, you can pronounce the R, and you can actually do something else. So we have a task for you that I'm going to just revise with you tomorrow, inshallah. Now the task is to write down 15 words from memory that have the letter R, 5 words that have an R at the beginning, 5 words that have an R in the middle, and 5 words that have the R at the end of the word. And practice your pronunciation. So actually this is a good task to just practice your vocabulary and recall words that you know by heart, and also at the same time just concentrate on the words that have the R and practice your R. So this is your task and the homework that we have for you. Our outline is to discuss, or the discussion was about well-known Saudi doctors, build conversation about teamwork, and recall recognized Saudi doctors. As we said, we had the conversations about different kinds of teams, and of course we have here our Saudi doctor. The listening part was about Dr. Abdul Rabia. We enumerated Dr. Rabia's achievements and organized ideas in order. And the last part that we did was to pronounce, or the pronunciation of the letter R here. We have to identify words with the R sound and practice pronouncing the letter R properly. So as simple as it is, it doesn't need your effort. So go ahead, practice your R, and we're going to practice more tomorrow, inshallah.